Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. We are moving on, skipping a little bit around a little bit here. We're going to jump straight into the new subclasses for the Artificer in the new Eberron book that came out. The first one up is the Alchemist.
Yes.
If you're new to the channel or to the series, we're going to go through each of the abilities that the subclass gains and how it impacts on the base class. We're going to rate the RP value, the combat value, and the overall class synergy based on how the abilities of the subclass improve on the abilities of the base class.
Foundations.
Yes. We also will announce the winner to the giveaway at the end of the video.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Oh boy. So, Alchemist, you do get additional tool proficiency with Alchemist supplies. Yeah.
Surprise.
It makes sense. But it does give you the clarification if you did happen to pick it before you pick this subclass, you do get to pick another tool proficiency. So you get 2 tool proficiencies, which is cool. Which works really well with what the base class is going to do anyway. If you're a tinker, you're a fixer, you like to make and play with things and such, so works out very well. Being a half caster, you do also get a pool of spells to add to from your subclass. Then, as we'll get into, they build really well with what you do get with the subclass. You do get some healing spells, healing word, mass healing word. Then you get ray of sickness, flaming spear. You can get blight. You can get raised dead. So you get some interesting. Helpful spells. You don't have a ton of spell slots as a half caster, but helpful spells to say the least. An interesting spell selection for your alchemist. Starting at level 3, you get experimental elixirs. Essentially, there are 6 different types of potions you can make. The start of the day, long rest. You randomly roll on the table, roll a d6, and you get one of these starting at level 3. At level 6, you get 2. Level 15, you get 3, and they are healing, swiftness, resilience, boldness, flight, and transformation. I mean, it's one basic healing spell, plus 10 movement speed for 10 feet movement speed for an hour, plus 1 AC for 10 minutes. The one boldness I think is interesting. You get a plus D4 to every attack roll or saving throw for the next minute. So it's probably the best one overall. That's why it's only for a minute. Of course, flying speed is cool. 10 feet for 10 minutes, and alter self at will for 10 minutes. So. The other thing you keep in mind with this ability is you can spend a level 1 spell slot or higher, so no cantrips obviously, to make more of these spells, and you get to choose when you spend the spell slot. So if you're level 6, you're level 7, 8, you get 2 free ones, and you get, let's say you get swiftness and transformation, and your team come across this big giant cavern that you can either take 4 hours out of your time to try to find a way around, or you can just fly across the 50-foot gap. Spend your spell slots and make flying potions, everybody, and shoot the gap. It just takes 1 action to make the potion spending a spell slot. So options on how you get them does help you choose and get what you need to get out of it.
Right. Then at level 5, you have Alchemical Savant. So basically with this, it's kind of cool. It enhances your healing and damage abilities. So basically whenever you cast a spell, using the Alchemist supplies as spellcasting focus, you get a bonus to 1 roll of the spell. So as long as the spell has a die roll to it, you're going to add a bonus to it. It's going to be equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of +1. So if you have 20 intelligence, you're going to add 5 to all of the spells that you cast that are healing or damage dealing. But there is a little bit of an asterisk on there, which the damage dealing has to be either acid, fire, necrotic, or poison. And all of the spells that are added through the subclass are all in that damage category, so don't have to worry about that. But whenever you cast those spells, you're going to get your bonus to the damage there. And if you cast like bonus action healing word, you're going to get the +5 on there as well from your 20 intelligence +5 score. So pretty cool little.
Another reason to get that intelligence modifier up. It's going to be a recurring theme throughout this subclass for sure.
Definitely. And then at level 9, we have Restorative Regions. So with this one, it actually makes all of your potions kind of healing potions. So whenever someone drinks one of your potions, it's going to give them a 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier. There you go again.
That's 2.
In temporary hit points. So that would change your healing potion to be 2d4 plus your intelligence modifier to 2d4 plus your intelligence modifier for the healing, and then 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier for the temporary hit points. So it's just going to buff all of your potions to give temporary hit points, which is a nice little way to increase the survivability of your party, barring you give them all a potion that they can drink. And then you can also cast Lesser Restoration without expending a spell slot, provided you, again, use the Alchemist supplies as spellcasting focus, equal to the number of times that your intelligence modifier is.
That would be
Minimum level.
the third ability that
Right.
references
So
your
you're gonna,
intelligence
again,
modifier.
we mentioned in our video for the base class that you're gonna really want to make sure you check out and buff your intelligence modifier as soon as possible to the max, because there's lots of abilities. If you don't know what the base class is, go make sure you watch our video on that too, so you can get a little bit more better understanding of the subclass. Right. It is a really cool ability to kind of buff all of your potions a little bit, because that's what you do in this class.
Yeah.
This
You're an alchemist, you make potions.
Right.
It makes complete sense. Your final ability you get is Chemical Mastery, which you do get level 15, which is a lower level than some other subclasses. Some get 17 or 18 or later. So 15 is not too high of a clip to get to. Right. You gain resistance to both acid and poison damage and are immune to the poison condition, which helpful. Poison damage, fairly common. Acid, not as much, but still just 2 passive resistances to damage always helps your survivability. Right. And immune to the poison condition also helps with having to deal with that awful effect if you are indeed attempting to be poisoned. The other things you do get are 2 more free spells. You get to cast Greater Restoration and Heal once each without expending a spell slot, because you couldn't cast Heal otherwise. Anyway, it's level 6 spell, and you only get to level 5 spells. You have to, no material components, once again, as long as you use the Alchemist supplies as your spellcasting focus. Right. So once again, 2 more free spells, and we'll talk more about this in a minute. There's a lot of free and extra stuff you get with this subclass to help create as to what it is, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And with that all being said, we're going to move on to the rating section. First up is the roleplay value. Now, again, there's probably a lot of new people watching our videos because this is new stuff.
Right,
so
new
if
stuff.
you're new, when we look at the RP value, the base class has lots of RP value on its own.
Yes.
So what we're looking at when we're rating the RP value for the subclasses is how much of this subclass abilities are going to improve on the base class. Right. As we said, the base class has a lot of cool RP potential. Mm-hmm. Subclasses, a little bit different. With this one, as you notice, all of these abilities are primarily combat focused. Yep. There are some certain situations where your elixirs are going to have more of a RP value than they're going to be of a combat value. Like, for example, transformation is definitely more on the RP side of things, where you can use alter self spell for 10 minutes. Flight for 10 feet for 10 minutes can be used in combat, but 10 feet is not very much flying speed.
Right, that's more for...
It's probably going to be more used for RP. Same for walking speed. Now, that's a little bit more useful for combat, because having that extra movement speed can help people get in range faster and stuff. But it can be used in certain situations for chases or races that you're trying to rig and things like that, being said. So there are some RP abilities, but primarily everything is going to be combat-based, which is a little strange because it looks like it's supposed to be more of like a utility healer kind of subclass. But with that being said, we decided to give it a 2.5 out of 5 flumps for the RP value. Again, the base class, awesome RP value. Right. This is just how much it adds on top of the base class. Right. So don't be like, well, this is really cool and it's got lots of RP potential. We're already assuming that you're going to be RPing your background and where you came from.
Your character as a whole.
How you're crafting your potions, that's not counted in our RP scoring.
We're looking at the abilities themselves and what they add to that side of the game.
Yeah, so just 2.5 on there, but we felt a lot stronger about some of the
things only get better from there. On the combat side of things, like Jameson said, every single one of these abilities have some sort of a combat gear in them. All of your potions eventually being able to give yourself temporary hit points, or other people that drink them temporary hit points. Healing, movement speed, additional AC, adding an extra dice to attack rolls and saving throws, all helpful in combat. That's just with the elixirs themselves. Getting that extra flat damage with your Alchemical Savant. Right. For any of the main damage types you get, and all the spells you get with your subclass, which are in self, it's a pretty decent list. Yeah. All those spells trying to give increasing that floor damage, getting that +5, which emphasize again, get that hit max as soon as possible for with this class for sure. And on top of the fact, you get the your spell storing item you get at level 11 from the base class. This is really a huge thing, because you can feel a lot more free with burning spell slots to make more elixirs when you need them, because you can then store a level 1 or a level 2 spell. Like, for example, when you look at Flaming Sphere or Mel's Acid Arrow is a level 2 spell you get from here. That's reliable damage you can do 10 free times with a base class ability that from a subclass spell that you get, that will get the additional buff from the subclass ability, which builds really well and helps your reliability of your damage output and everything else. Right. Getting, again, free spells with Greater Restoration can be used to get rid of like petrification and things like that. Yeah. and heal that you would never have access to otherwise.
Right.
Just like
you don't get 6th level spells.
you don't get less. You just don't have them. It's not a spell you don't learn. It's above your normal spell grade. It's just a flat. Here's 70 health.
Right.
Your turn.
Pretty good.
So score wise, we went with a 4 out of 5 flumps. Probably the only thing that held it back from being a higher score was that it takes an action to make your elixirs, or for you to drink them, or you to feed them to specifically an unconscious person.
Yeah, incapacitated, unconscious.
So if you could do them as a bonus action,
that'd make it a lot better.
Would have been a sure 5. But if you're trying to make these and then give these to somebody in combat, you're looking at 2 different actions to make one, and then give one to somebody. 2 full turns you'd be using just to get 1 elixir into somebody.
And another good thing on the side of it too is when you use your spells to craft a potion, you get to choose what you get.
Right.
So for example, if you're in combat and you're like, one of these elixirs might be really useful in this combat, you can use your action to make it in combat. It only takes an action to craft elixir. So that gives you more utility, and another reason why we kind of decided to score a little bit on the higher end of things.
Sure.
And then lastly, we have the overall class synergy. Again, with the way the base class works, with your spell storing items, and just generally how you get your spells and your cantrips and things that most Heavcasters aren't going to have access to, it gives you a lot of flexibility that you otherwise wouldn't have. So when you get the option to craft additional potions, you don't feel as bad about burning your spell slots to make extra potions, because you get free spell slots through your Chemical Mastery at level 15 with Greater Restoration and Heal. You get bonus spell slots with your spell storing item in the base class that you're going to be able to cast 10 times as first or second level spells. So you're getting 10 free spell slots, or 10 free second level spells potentially that you wouldn't otherwise have. And you also have your Alchemical Savant, where you're getting your bonuses to your floor of spells. So you're just going to make all of your cantrips better. So there's a lot of synergy with that. Actually having access to cantrips is actually a big deal. It lets you stay at range. Otherwise, you'd have more of an issue getting what's your role in combat. This lets you stay away and actually deal reliable damage, because you're getting that floor. You're always going to be dealing something. It might not be a lot, but in this subclass, you're going to be more of a utility support specialist anyway.
Right.
So it's just kind of getting that reliable damage out there, and buffing and having access to spell slots that you can use for things other than your spells, because some of your spells aren't super effective.
Sure.
And I think one of the biggest things that we mentioned when we were discussing this is access to Mass Healing Word. Now, you're getting +5 on one of your rolls. You do roll a d4 for Mass Healing Word. You're going to be healing, because of the bonus from Alchemical Savant, a minimum of 66 if you have 6 targets to heal. Obviously, if you have less than that, the more targets you have, the more beneficial Alchemical Savant is going to be for Mass Healing Word. But that still is a huge buff to that spell. The more targets you have, the better. So, that being said, there's a lot of synergy between the base class, primarily through spell slots and their lack of use or need, and having more flexibility in how you use your spell slots. So we decided to go with a 4.5 out of 5.
Near perfect score on the synergy side of things.
Again, one of the biggest drawbacks is the forcing someone to use an action to drink. That's kind of a slight hindrance, because if you're in there, sometimes not being able to use your action to deal with damage or to evade or whatever.
Or cast a full spell.
Right.
So,
it can cause some hiccups and be a little painful to do, but sometimes it's the only option you have.
That's all you do.
So,
but that, guys, that's our thoughts on the Alchemist subclass for the Artificer. 1 of 3. We decided to go ahead and get these out quickly because you guys were so much enjoying the new content, as are we ourselves. So make sure you leave a like down below, subscribe, and we will be revealing the winner right after the end of this video.
So I'll put it up on the screen now. You are the winner. Congratulations. Make sure you contact us. The email, go to our About page. I'll have a link in the description down below. Go there. Make sure you email me so I can verify the winner to make sure you get the prize and
not some
other random person.
No.
So make sure you contact me so I can get you the new book, shiny new book out there.
Yes.
And that being said, guys, that'll wrap it up for this one. As always, thanks for watching.